There we go. Mark Donegan, self healing practitioner and educator, ordained minister, aka Goldilocks. Different, strange day. I woke up. I woke up in not really a lot of pain, but yeah, I was in a lot of pain, and I couldn't get up. If you watch some of my other videos, I'm having spinal problems where I can't stand sometimes. And other times I'm running around looking like an athlete. It makes no sense whatsoever to anyone that looks at me. But today, it's different. I woke up, I couldn't hardly stand up, and this is one of the few days where I've done absolutely nothing, and I've spent most of the day in bed. And part of it was told myself, my mentally, to keep myself down. The other part was I I couldn't move through a lot of these things unless I exerted a lot of effort. And again, I mentally said, don't do that because I do that all the time. So that's why I'm saying different. Today I took my medicine as far as uh, having to stay down, and I have a plate full of stuff that I want to do, and I did none of it. And shoot, even taking care of yourself can be a hard thing. And I know in certain cycles, some people they don't even shower. I've got that here, or some they get so bad where they won't even shower for weeks and months. They like you have to call adult protective on them. I'm not near close to that, but I mean, I like keeping up, and I notice when I'm not keeping totally up. And today I got to the point where I had to go do something, even though I was down, and it wasn't a big thing, thankfully. And I don't leave too many things like that to where I have to do them. Um, and this was just walking across the street to the store, but it's still, I didn't want to injure my back. I didn't want to bend it in any way today. It really is screwed because yesterday, not because I wanted to, I ended up riding my bike, and that's probably something shifted, and that's why I'm sore today. Like I don't know. But likely makes sense, right? But yeah, I missed the bus, and I had to jump on my bike because yesterday I didn't have to, but it was real important what I had to do. Go give my 3 minutes at the supervisors. It was a real important day. I don't like missing important days. Yesterday was just off the hook important. I didn't have a lot to say, but what I did have to say again was important to me. Maybe it was to other people. I don't know. People keep telling me it is. That's the craziest thing about that. That's another thing. People expect me there. Um, the sheriff praises me for coming, and everyone does. And every time I go in the hallway, somebody's like, yeah, thank you for going up there and saying that stuff for us. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying for you. You not sure what I'm saying for me. I just try and tell them to get along. And from what I can tell, they're getting along better in county government. We finally know what our budget is. It's kind of crazy because they didn't for so many years. It's like this big darkness thing. Now there's definitely light shined on it. And yesterday was budget hearings, and they're over, and everyone's fairly happy except for the union, which is not going to get their COLA that they want, um, which they will likely get in years to come. Now that these numbers are nice and clear. And I listened to the union yesterday, and because they didn't have time, and because they argue every point, they're going to get nothing right now. Yeah, it's interesting watching the union, the county workers union. They don't work very well. And I told them so. I told them, coming here speaking to the supervisors every time is not the way to go about this. You need to go speak to them personally and get them on your side. You don't go in public and diss on them every 2 weeks and then expect something good to happen for you. I mean, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, they have not even reached out to a single supervisor. I checked on that before. I start speaking about it, because that's a problem here is communication, and I'm going to be the communication buster, man. I'm like, the little Tasmanian devil, and I have no position, I have no pay, and people freak out when they see me coming, and other people are like, "Yeah, here comes that guy. He's gonna make something happen here." When those are usually people that where nothing's moving for them, and they're just angry, and so they're glad to see somebody come along that can shake things, and I can definitely shake things, especially in county government, because everybody knows who I am now. Uh, and I have no position, I have no play, and no one has no pull on me. And if people have been trying to lay that politics thing on me, and they will continue to do so, and it'll never happen. I have told them, I said, I have a criminal history that just won't allow it, and I won't allow anybody to go into that kind of stuff. My personal, criminal, whatever. I got plenty of everything, so screw them. And I'm learning all this from my mentor, Mo. I don't even know Mo that well, to tell you the truth, and that's part of what I learned from her, because she puts herself so out there with her phone number out there. This is a county supervisor, right? But she finds out stuff that way, and when somebody starts calling too much, she deals with it. I'm gonna take it the same way. Just put myself right on out there, and anybody that abuses my boundaries, they're gonna find out right away, and not in a hard way. Just that's we're taking care of business. So yeah, very different physical day, and mentally, I'm not even checked in. I'm not even checking in today. I'll check in tomorrow. I don't want to get into my head because it will make me start pushing on my body, and I don't want to go there. Poor thing. Um, but yeah, it's going through a lot with numbness. Well, not numbness, paralysis. Yeah, some numbness because my left leg I can't feel on the outside mostly. It's mostly because I can't move my legs. It's just like lead feeling, and it's throughout my body, but it's my legs hard, and I'm moving. I walk, so I know what it's like. And right now I'm having a little stabby, so so those are sharp pains, and I can move and deal with like most of them to a degree, you know. And I've talked about my pain medication. It's down at a minimal level, and I was thinking about it today. It's like when I'm going to see a doc next week on it, I'm totally fine where my pain medication's at. I got plenty enough. It doesn't help at a certain point in my pain. It they talk about that edge. For me, it takes it to where I'm not throwing up, and it may not make me not sick, but it's enough where I'm not throwing up, and my body's not shaking in trauma or whatever the frick that is when it does it. And it's almost amazing that it can go that far. But yeah, with just a little, my body does fine. My body needs these other things that I've talked about, these other medications that are non-narcotic, just a whole bevy of different ones at different times, depending on what I got going on. And thankfully, other than that, I don't have a lot going on. And I have nausea, so I'm working with nausea medication and methocarbamol. I mentioned that. I didn't take it for years. It's hard on the stomach, it's hard on the kidneys, and I have kidney issues. I may not be able to take it for long, but it's very effective. Um, and it is said that it has a sedative effect, even though it's not narcotic, which I find very interesting. Didn't like that before. Now I find it where I'm okay with a little sedation once in a while. It's taken me a long time to get there, so I'm I'm okay with those medications that knock me back just a hair. Like the anti-nausea medications does that also, and I can operate on those okay. Considering that when I'm in pain, I can't operate at all. I'm just like anybody wrapped into the pain. So today's a different day. Uh, just letting the swollenness be swollen. Um, it makes complete sense to me what's wrong, which is the main thing that I know where I'm at, that I need surgery down here at L3-4, L3-4, yeah, 4-5's fused. So I need a 3-4 done. And they may come up one or two more levels. It wouldn't make more sense to come up one, so they'd have to come up two. So probably getting 3 levels fused, which is fine at this point. And that's another thing; those fuckers are floating around. I'm pretty damn strong, even through my middle. Not as strong as I should be through my, not as strong as my upper body, but strong enough that it should be holding my spine straight, and it ain't. And it's still coming out of place, and it's still shifting to the left. Um, so, yeah, that's a pretty hard feeling. It's got to get, needs to be straightened out. And I've mentioned it before. In the old days, somebody with this type of scoliosis, this is the way they would just processed out of life, was in a lot of pain, and I've got the opportunity to get them to stabilize me. So yeah, I get that clicking, that shifting of the spine stabilized, because it's good that it's moved, but when it's moving too much, then yeah, and if my muscles can't stabilize it, so yeah, everything's very clear mentally where I got to go, and I got to keep this mental attitude for over 2 months. I don't even see the surgeon for another month and a half, and that is the way things go. So if you're out there with a spinal injury, thinking, and no matter how clear you are on your situation of surgery, it ain't gonna happen fast. It might, I've often mentioned that too. It depends on when you see a doctor. It depends on your mental clarity, saying yes when the doctor says go, and when you see the doctor. It happened with quick then, but with the way I have set things up, I'm not seeing this guy for another month and a half, because I have to see my other surgeon that did the recent surgery first, which obviously makes sense. Plus, we need to give that surgery more time. They're not going to be as clear as I am. They haven't been watching my YouTube videos. They are going to go, well, he should have been done at 6 weeks. That is going to catch their attention. But we're well past 6 weeks now. So, and by the time I see them, it'll be 2 to 3 months, So, and I don't see this getting any better. It's getting worse as I'm trying to work through it. I've never done so many workouts at such a, broken level. And that's why today, when it hit me so hard, it was just like, there were no second thoughts about it. You're not pushing into this today. It was crazy. When I went out and that's the first time like ever I've done like that. When I went out and had my coffee, usually always will bend over and traction out my spine a little bit, but I was just not messing with it today. I did just go out and I did lay down like in the bark and shit, did a little crunch, to pop, release my upper body, but that was it. I did not screw with my lower spine. I did no twisties today. I did no flippy. Well, I did a little flippy with my stick, but when I flippy with my stick, it's totally upper body, as long as I'm maintaining, not moving my hip, twisting my hips. And that's the practice with the stick. It's mostly upper body. Very rarely do I add in the footwork, which requires the lower body. It's just unique, because that's why I use the stick, is to isolate. And then you can feel when you start moving different parts of your body into the motion of the stick. And eventually with a stick, the idea is you want your whole body in the flow with it, right? I sort of can't do that. I can do that, but I have to be really careful how I do it and loosen up to that point. And then I can rotate my entire lower middle spine with my legs and upper spine, if you understand what I'm saying. Because I'm completely broken. One half of my spine goes one way and the other half goes the other way. And that's just a literal fact. Because when I went into the ground, my hips and legs went that ways, my shoulders and head went in that ways. And it's so lucky that thing didn't snap. So that's about it. Different day. The lower spine is degrading. We thought it was going to fuse without compression on the nerve, but as it's fusing, it's compressing on the nerve. So that is what it is. I can stretch and strengthen all I want, but there's no way I'm gonna lift a vertebrae up. Because there ain't no muscles there to lift it up. I, I can totally feel it too when I'm pressing my breath through that nerve. That it feels like the nerve's trying to push the bone up, which is good. I want to make that nerve resilient, but it also makes me sick and yeah, that's another thing too, because there's there's days where you're gonna have to push on that nerve and make it sick. I didn't know those things back in the day. That's why I couldn't work without tons of pain medication. That's what that pain's for, is to keep you within those limits. So yeah, it don't take a lot of pain medication to deal with a heck of a lot of pain. And I wouldn't say that after surgery. I've often said that surgery trauma is different, because when I came out of surgery, oh my god! And when I come out this next time, it's gonna be even worse. So uh, I see those videos coming. Yeah. So anyways, that'll happen when it happens. Love you. Out.